to Spa Training, sponsored by San Juan Pools and Spas. Hi there, my name is Joe, and in this segment we are going to be talking about filling your hot tub. And this segment really applies whether you're filling your hot tub for the very first time because you just got it, or if you're refilling your hot tub after a routine drain and refill. We do have another video segment on draining your hot tub that you're more than welcome to view. First of all, let's talk about some general thoughts of filling your hot tub. First of all, every hot tub, and pool for that matter, needs to be filled with hard water. That's really the opposite of what we would think. A lot of us want to soften our water in our homes, but in a hot tub or a pool, we actually want hard water. So you always want to fill it with hard water, bypass that softener if at all possible. A lot of folks will also ask, well, what if I need to fill my spa or hot tub with well water? Well, that really is only an issue if your well water contains a lot of metals, which you'll typically know because that water will be very rusty or orange colored when you fill something like a spa or a bucket that you can actually see the color. And if that's the case, there's a couple of things you can do to try to help that situation. First of all, we carry a variety of products, a couple of different types that are pre-filters. These devices are meant to be attached to the end of the garden hose so that as the water flows through the device, it will filter out a lot of the impurities or metals that are in the water. And the couple of types that we carry depend on how much metal you actually have in your water. Now, something else you can actually try to help with well water and the metals that might be in there is to actually go ahead and fill your spa with softened water. Now, we know that's not good based on what we said earlier, but the softened water, or running the water through the softener, will remove a lot of the metals. And that's fine as long as after the spa is filled, you add some calcium hardness back to the water in order to make the water hard again. That's something you can always bring a water sample in. We can test for you and actually tell you how much of the calcium hardness that you'll need to add back to the water once you use that softened water. Now, one more general thought is while you're filling your spa, you don't want to go ahead and add any water care products to the spa until you actually have it filled up and running. And then you can actually go ahead and put in your water care products. And feel free to bring a water sample in. We'd be happy to help you out with that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about actually filling the spa. I've actually got the hose in there going right now, but one of the first things we recommend is go ahead and take out the filters. We like to remove the filters that way, and what we do with that filter is just set it right inside the tub while it's filling up. Let it float around in there, it won't get too far from you. But by doing that, it lets this filter get nice and soaked with water so that when it's time to actually install it into the hot tub, it's able to draw the water through itself much easier and get that pump primed. And then we just go ahead and take the hose and lay it right down into the bottom of the spa. I know some owner manuals will actually talk about putting it into the filter area. That's fine if you want to, but we feel that by taking out the filter, putting the hose in the bottom of the spa, you'll have a much better chance of getting that pump primed the first time you actually put it on. My next piece of advice is while you've got that hose in there, especially if this is the first time you've ever filled your spa, is don't leave. Don't forget about it because your spa will actually fill much faster than what you think. 30 to 45 minutes is a pretty average time frame depending on how big the spa is or perhaps how strong your water pressure is coming out of your garden hose. But a good recommendation, don't leave because next thing you know you've overflowed your spa and you got to start taking some water back out. Now, let's say the spa's filled, all right? We've got it up to the top where it needs to be. Usually there's a water line mark on the hot tub that you can fill it up to. But now we're ready to get things going. Well, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and turn the power on to the spa. That's generally not a button on here, but rather right at the breaker or a disconnect on the outside of the house. You go ahead and turn the power back onto the spa. And Bullfrog Spas and Nordic Spas, which are the two brands that we sell here at San Juan Pools, both of those hot tubs will have what's called a priming cycle or a priming mode, which lasts for 2 to 4 minutes once that hot tub is turned on. We usually recommend to let the hot tub go ahead and go through its priming cycle to check all the sensors, to check the voltage, make sure everything's okay. and then that spa will typically go ahead and power itself up after that priming cycle and turn on the pumps. At that point, we recommend, if it's a 1 or 2 pump spa, go ahead, turn on the jet buttons, push the jet buttons, get those pumps running. And there's a couple things before you want to walk away. First of all, make sure that you hear the pump running, but that also you see water flowing back into the spa. Because a pump can be running but not primed. And what that means, it has an air pocket inside the pump. It's running but not physically pumping water. And we'll have some troubleshooting sections on the website that you can look at if that happens to take place. But for the most part, make sure that water is actually coming out of the jets before you actually go away and leave the hot tub and think your job is done. The last thing we want to do is go ahead and reinstall the filters. If your filter is a closed-in filter like this one, it's already been floating in the spots nice and wet. Go ahead and have it under the water, tip it upside down to get any air pockets out from inside the pump, and then go ahead and reinstall those filters, and you'll really be all set and ready to go. At that point, we always recommend that you bring a water sample in. Let us help you get that water reestablished in the right zone depending on what chemical system or water care products you're using for the spa. Only takes about 5 minutes to do a water sample. And if you'll let us help you do that, everything works a lot smoother. You'll enjoy your hot tub a lot more as you use it.